Hey everybody, welcome to the third episode of the Fulfillment Podcast, where we help to discover a better you by finding fulfillment in life, relationships, and finance. I'm your host, Josh, and in this episode, we talk about the law of attraction. Now, what is the law of attraction? Why is it relevant to me? Is this some crazy foo-foo shit? I'll go over all that stuff inside the episode. Do not worry, I'm super pumped about it. This is a great one. I think it deserves a whole nother episode on its own because there's a few different things that just concept-wise and everything is really tough to pack into just one episode altogether. So I think we deserve ourselves a few more times to just be able to go through a lot of this stuff, dive a little bit deeper into the details about what each one of those are. But without further ado, let's get straight into the episode, guys. Hey everyone, welcome back to the third installment of the Fulfillment Podcast. I'm super jazzed that everybody's here. This is just gained some traction right off the bat, and I'm pretty pumped about it. So glad you guys are enjoying some of the content. And I think what we're going to start doing is getting really just start diving straight into it. I know I keep saying that every single time, but first one, I just wanted to give a little bit of background of who I was, so you guys got some context and some clarity based on kind of the things that I talk about as I move forward through a lot of these different episodes. So today's episode, we're talking about the law of attraction. What is the law of attraction? How is that relative to me? And the biggest question that everybody's going to be asking is this really just some foo-foo shit that this guy's trying to pass off, or is it real? So I get it. I've been there. I was definitely there once upon a time. And it's not foo-foo. I promise you that. It's very realistic. And I'm going to try my best to break it down and kind of show you how exactly it's not craziness, and it's actually real. It plays into your life constantly. It's really like a law of gravity, right? It's never off. It's always there. It's always functioning in the background. It's always happening no matter what. It's never gone or turned off or disappeared or whatever. So whether you're sleepy or whether you're awake, it's in your conscious and subconscious mind. So what the law of attraction is, right? What is the law of attraction, and why in the hell do I care about it? Well, the reason I'm going to explain why you should care is because I lived a different life at once upon a time, right? There's kind of like two phases to my life. I'd say there's the growth and development phase, and that was really all the time from the point at which I was born up until I went through that divorce, right? I think that was the growth and development phase of Josh. That was a totally wild and different version of who I was. Then there was the kind of spiritual discovery phase, law of attraction discovery phase, that whole piece of Josh. And that was really from the time of the divorce, going through getting out of the army, the two relationships that were pretty substantial to me, and then kind of to the point of self-discovery and self-revelation, which was, maybe 3 years later, 2 years later after that. But that was kind of the whole discovery phase. And then really where I'd say I'm at now is kind of the live in your peak state phase. And the beautiful part about that is you're constantly discovering, right? You're never the perfect version, because there's always improvements. And, once you get to a certain goal, you always want to achieve something better. But there is a state at which you can say, I'm comfortable by myself. I'm comfortable alone. I love me and who I am and what I do. And I'm not going to sacrifice that for anybody else to come into my life, be that relationships, finances, or, just general communication with anybody, friendships and stuff like that. So that really all spurred from me kind of discovering what the law of attraction is. And of course, when you first hear it, it's kind of like Buddhism or whatever, where you're like, oh, the guy's like sitting on top of a rock doing yoga and, just meditating and humming to himself. It's kind of like weird stuff. And it doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. It's not real. But I'm going to tell you, it's a very realistic thing, and I'm going to break this down as simply as I possibly can so we can all understand it. So, law of attraction. What is the law of attraction? So the law of attraction is basically, in the most simplest form that I can possibly summarize this up, is if you think about it, everything that you think, or all the thoughts and memories and things that you have in your life, whatever you say, whatever you do, whatever you surround yourself with, is what you will receive. If you think about it, like if you're thinking about getting a new car, we'll say there's this new shiny red, car, we'll call it a Corvette, right? You think about buying a Corvette. So think about this Corvette, you start doing some research about this Corvette, you start driving around when you're looking at, the different dealerships and stuff. And when you're driving on the street, all you start seeing over the course of time while you're thinking about this day and night, while you're researching about it, while you're doing all this, data analysis and stuff on the Corvette and what's the best one to buy and what model year you want and all this stuff, you start seeing it all the time. Right? You start driving down the road. You're like, oh, there's one. That's a cool model. I want a different color. Or you start seeing different year models, or you start seeing some classic models, or you start seeing all these other things. But before you know it, you start seeing this everywhere you go because it's on your mind, right? Because you think about it. So you start noticing it everywhere. Same thing holds true with, think about if you surround yourself, right, with some negative people that are generally jealous or talk behind people's backs or have a lot of drama in their life or whatever, right? I know a lot of people are like, oh, I hate hanging around, X group of people because they're just full of drama and it's degrading and it's depressing and it just pulls you down into a negative state. That's also an example of the law of attraction, right? You surround yourself with what it is you want to be or what you want to achieve, right? So their energy, the way they start seeing things, they see negativity, they see drama in everything that happens in their life. And that's all their life consists of, is that drama. So as basic and simple terms as that, what you think you will conceive, what the mind thinks the body will conceive or the mind will conceive, and that's what will consume your life. So that, as simply as I can explain it, is the law of attraction. Now, the law of attraction goes into a whole bunch of other stuff too now, right? Because you think about that, that's the basic, simple form of it. So if you think of that in terms of, okay, now what does that mean for me and moving forward? Well, think about it like this. If you want to get out of your 9-to-5 job, right? If you're working on 9 to 5, you wake up in the morning, you go to work, you stay at work all day until about 5 o'clock, then you're done with work, you come home, make dinners, hang out with the kids, watch some TV, and then go to sleep, right? That's your life. And it repeats 5 days a week until the weekend. You go out to the bars on Fridays, you hang out with your friends on Saturdays, you go to church or do same things on Sundays, and then you repeat and rinse on Monday. And you do the same thing over and over and over again. You want to get out of that drum, right? You want to get out of that drag of life. Well, in order to do so, you got to start conceptualizing, visualizing different things. Because if you're in such a state, you hang around the people, your mind conceives it, and all you think of is just like that lifestyle. What am I going to do next weekend? Well, by thinking, what am I going to do next weekend? You're kind of already skipping the whole week, which by skipping the whole week, you're kind of accepting it. You're accepting that week is going to happen to you. This is what's happening. This is where I'm going to be. Gonna move through it, and then I'm gonna get to the weekend and I'm gonna start planning for the weekend. Or you hate different things that happen, or you dread the things that are gonna happen with your boss and all these things. You're accepting these things. So if you're accepting them, then guess what? The universe is gonna give that to you. The universe, God, Buddha, whoever we want to talk, right? All the same kind of spiritual being, the same concept, right? The universe. I'll use the universe for most clarity's sakes, but the universe is gonna give you what you want. And if you're accepting those things, you want those things, and that's what you're going to have. Now, that's not necessarily what you want, right? You don't want to have that, but you receive what you are. You don't receive what you want. Where you want to be is not where you are, and you will only receive what you are. So if you tell yourself, well, I'm a 9-to-5 employee and I work for the weekends and I just work for a paycheck and I live paycheck to paycheck, and that's the life, right? That's a simple, easy life, nothing crazy to worry about. Stress, sure, going to work, but I don't have to worry about a paycheck or anything like that. Well, if that's who you are, then that's what you're going to receive, and that's the life that you're going to have. And if you ever want to change that, then you have to start becoming something different. Now, what does that mean, Josh? That's kind of crazy. If I want something different, then I have to be that. Well, I don't have it. So how am I going to get there? Well, that's part of the hard part, right? That's the part that people don't understand. So that's why it's this concept that eludes most people. Just by you listening to the podcast right now and sticking in for these last 8 minutes that we've been talking through this episode, you've already kind of distinguished yourself that you're kind of trying to learn a little bit different. You're trying to expand your consciousness and really grasp a concept bigger than probably what you've been taught your entire life. So how do you become something that you're not, or you want to become this lifestyle that you are? Well, I can tell you one thing. You start doing it. You just start living. If you want to be this massive bodybuilder and this big old boy, well, guess what? You can't sit on your couch and just visualize and conceptualize and say, I want, and expect all of a sudden these muscles to pop up, right? You got to start going to the gym, get your gym membership, start buying some protein, get your health and nutrition straight, and start living the lifestyle, become that in which you want to be, live that life, become that life, be that person. And then guess what? You're gonna have that, right? If you start, you're like, you know what? I'm a bodybuilder, or I'm a gym fanatic, or I like working out. Like, I'm that person. Well, guess what? What does that person start doing? Well, if you're that person, you're gonna start emulating that lifestyle. So you wake up in the mornings, you wake up 6, 7 o'clock, you go to the gym before work, you start doing those things that you want to achieve. And before you know it, and anybody that's a personal trainer that's listening to this, 100%, right? By routine and creating those habits, you become that person. The habits create the lifestyle. The lifestyle doesn't create the habits. It's the habits that create the lifestyle. If you want a different lifestyle, create different habits. And then you'll become what you want to achieve, because then you are that already. You are that what you want to do. One of the guys I follow, Aaron Daugherty, talks about how he was in a 9-to-5 job. He was working a full commission job, selling shoes, women's shoes. And what he was doing is he realized, I want out of this, but how do I do it? And he's like, well, I'm going to make YouTube videos. That's kind of like my passion. He likes teaching people things about a very similar concept, right? About this same topic, really. And he's like, well, what I'm going to do is I'm a full-time YouTuber. That's who I am. That's who I am now. So he was working his 9-to-5, but then he would come home and he was thinking of himself as a full-time YouTuber. So he would come home and he would make his YouTube videos. He made them every single day. He made a YouTube video every single day. And it got to the point where his income from the YouTube videos started to succeed or exceed what he was making in his 9-to-5. And then he could quit his 9-to-5. And at that point, he had achieved the lifestyle that he wanted. But it was because he embraced it and became that lifestyle. He thought of himself as a full-time YouTuber. He had a 9-to-5 that he would go to because of commitment sakes, right? He had to pay the bills and all that stuff. But he was a full-time YouTuber. So he started thinking of himself that way. And he became that. That which you want to achieve, you first have to conceive in your brain. You have to tell yourself that that's what you are. Now, if that hasn't already caught on, right, we're going to continue to keep going through this. So these are basically, it's how to manifest, right? That's how to manifest whatever your desires are. Now, the very important piece to remember about that is you get what you are, not what you want. By saying want, right? I want that. I want to be a bodybuilder. I want to be free of my 9-to-5. I want to be financially independent. I want this beautiful girl, or I want a healthy, loving relationship that's pure and genuine and real. By saying you want those things, that implies you do not have, right? Think about that, right? This is some stuff that once it catches up, don't worry, it's gonna slam all at once. But by saying want, you're implying you do not have. And if you continue to say, I want that, the universe says, great. Well, then we'll do that. Then we'll give you the lifestyle that you want to have. And if you continue to want that, then we'll let you continue to want it. Like you now have a lifestyle of wanting that relationship. And you're like, well, no, I want to have that relationship. I'm like, okay, cool. So you want to have it. So we're gonna do that for you. Like, you're gonna want to have it. And you're just gonna sit there and you're gonna constantly be wanting to have that. Well, stop the want and start living, and then you will have. It's kind of crazy to think about. Wrap your head around that. Let that sink in. And when it does, it'll blow your mind. It will. It'll change your life, right? And that's what I'm telling you. The law of attraction, this is why something I want to start early in the series, because it's almost fundamental to the way this whole thing kind of breaks down. So you have to not want, understand, right? Visualize the life you want, and then live it. Act as if you're there. And then you will start to see that you'll have that lifestyle and you'll start living those ways, right? If you want to be a millionaire, I'm not saying go out and start spending $100 million, or $100,000 every other week, because that's what millionaires would do. No. Not what I'm saying. I'm saying start living like a millionaire would be, right? What does a millionaire do? Well, he's probably got 7 streams of income or more. And he's probably, thinks of ways he's going to spend his time more efficiently. He probably thinks strategically about different ways he's going to be doing things, because time is value and money, time is money. He's probably going to surround himself with people that have a similar mindset than him. And he's not going to hang around with people that just party all the time, go to the bars nonstop, get smashed off their ass, like all that kind of stuff. Millionaire's probably not going to hang around with those people, because he's setting himself up for better success. Do those things. Live the lifestyle of what that millionaire would be. The question is, well, what about relationships? If I want to have, this beautiful, loving relationship, how do I just live that lifestyle, she's not going to be there. Correct. She won't be there. But what would a happy relationship look like for you? Most likely, and this is coming from just my personal experience, what a happy relationship is going to be for me is somebody who's self-confident in themselves, know they can succeed, and know they can support me doing the same things that I want to do. So what does that mean? Well, guess what? I'm going to have to be self-confident myself. I'm going to have to figure out who I am and live the lifestyle I want to live. Because if I do that, then I know the right person is going to fall into place when the time comes. Does that make sense? Let that one sink in too. Start living your lifestyle the way you want it to be, the way you are visualizing that it's going to be. If you want a healthy relationship and you want a genuine, real relationship, live the life of that relationship. What would it be like? I just moved into a new place, right? So I'm a big real estate guy. I got a bunch of real estate, a lot of passive income, all this other stuff, pumping in money nonstop, which is great. But it offered me the opportunity to move into a bigger place. And where this comes into the relationship side of things is I moved into, I used to live in like 1,000 square foot loft downtown, beautiful place, right next to a bunch of bars and stuff. But it was only a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. It was only 1,000 square feet. So it was relatively small. Definitely a bachelor pad, for sure. 100% bachelor pad. It was super cool place. People loved it. It was awesome. But there was definitely no room to grow, right? There was no room to have a second person in there because it was literally just big enough for me. And I loved it, but it was just big enough for me. And it was bachelor patty. It was not very conducive to like a female design sequence. If someone were to come in and quote unquote like nest right in the place, a girl comes in, sets up pictures and candles and all that kind of cool stuff. That didn't really work with where I was living. So this opportunity came up. An unfortunate circumstance, one of the guys that had a bigger loft, right, had to move out, and he was like, hey, I'm going to throw mine up for rent. And it was going to be the same price as what I was paying on my mortgage for my current place. So I asked him, I'm like, hey, how big is your place? And he's like, well, you want to come take a look? So I toured it. It's another loft, very similar. It's almost, I like it a little bit better, but it's twice as big. It's almost 2,000 square feet, and it has an extra bedroom and an extra bathroom. Now, when I saw that opportunity come up, I was like, holy smokes, this may be what I've been looking for this whole time. This may be what I need. So I took it, right? So now I live in this place, and I'm renting out my old one. Didn't sell it, but I rented it out. And now I'm living in this place that has room essentially for another person to join me and to be a part of my life. I've got extra closet space. I've got an extra vanity in the bathroom. I've got an extra bedroom and bathroom in the place. I've got a bigger kitchen. I've got more living space. I've got more to offer to have a second person join my lifestyle now, that I'm living essentially that lifestyle as if I were to have that person. Additionally, right, I took time off. I got out of a relationship that was actually a super healthy one, right? That was the second one that I was talking about. And I pursued really fixing myself, right? I pursued doing what I needed to do to become the best version of me. I went to counseling. I spent time alone. I started reading more. I started, doing a lot of self-help and studying, finding a mentor, all that kind of stuff, to really dive in and be who I wanted to be. Because if I didn't do that, then I wasn't going to become the best version of myself, which means I wasn't going to attract a genuine, happy girl into my life to become the best relationship version of what we could have, which means we'd have two unhappy people, which means I'd never be happy. And I don't want that. I wanted to be happy. I want to be happy again. I was happy once. I remembered it. I remember what it was like. I was happy in a relationship, genuinely happy in a relationship. And it was pure and it was real and it was awesome. And I want that again, but I'm not going to ever have that if I'm never true to myself. That's the whole reason the relationship didn't last, is because I wasn't the best version of myself. So the relationship didn't continue. So I want to become the best version of myself so that I can put that out there for her or for whoever that is that's going to be a part of it. I know there's somebody out there, right? Once I get to the point where I'm ready to receive somebody in my life, I'll have that. But I need to continue to work on myself and continue to pursue my passion, because if I don't do that, then I'm not going to find somebody that appreciates that and that falls into line to support all of those same things. So think about that, right? When we think about how do you make a relationship form out of thin air? Well, it's not going to form out of thin air. It doesn't work that way, but you can put the vibrations out there that will receive to somebody who's matching your vibrational frequency, somebody that's going to fall into line with you, with what you're doing, and appreciate you for what you are and what you have, and going to be a part of your life. So that's how the relationship piece works to it. Now, I want to talk about, should definitely shut that off. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to talk about, there's 3 steps really to getting into how do you manifest, right? And we kind of talked about first 2, and then there's a third one, and this is really the hardest one that there is. So this is a pretty important part, and I should probably make a whole nother episode on this, but I'll breeze through it real quick just for the sake, because it does fall into what is the law of attraction, since it's the steps really to manifest. But diving into this, so there's 3 steps to manifest, right? To manifest, and what I mean by manifest is to create that lifestyle, or to get that money, or to create the relationship, or to find the relationship, or to, make that decision to get out of your 9 to 5 or whatever you're trying to manifest. I've essentially boiled it down to like 3 steps. Okay. So the first step is to visualize. That's where a lot of the yoga and the meditation and all that kind of stuff comes into play. Goal setting, right? That's where it comes into play. That's called visualizing. So meditate and visualize the life or outcome that you want to manifest, that you will manifest. Feel the emotions as clearly as you can, right? So looking at the relationship side of things, right? If I want to find that same relationship that I had before, what I do is I put myself into a state, and when I meditate, I put myself into a presence of what it felt like to be in that relationship with that girl at that time. So for example, there was times where we would sit in the car and we would have long, deep conversations, and they were pure and genuine and real, and it was awesome, and I loved it. And I put myself, while I meditate, I think about those emotions that I felt while we were sitting in the car and talking together, late at night, eating, whatever, the Sonic ice cream or whatever it was that we got, thinking about those things and feeling those emotions, because I want to relive those emotions, right? Those things in that relationship were the things that were important to me. So those are the things that I want to feel again. I go back to car rides that we would have together. I go back to when I would get off of work, I would actually look forward to going back and seeing this girl, right? I feel those emotions. I feel all those feelings and everything as it comes back up, and I sit and I breathe, and you take the deep breath in and out, and you kind of you feel all of that as genuinely and as real as you can, and it makes it present in your life, right? You bring it back and you make it present. Getting blown up now. But you make that stuff present in your life. And another way to do that while meditating, if you think about finances, right? You think about, what does it feel like, right? Feel the emotions of having that financial fulfillment, of having that no longer worrying about where the money's going to come from, not worrying about paycheck to paycheck, not worrying if your phone bill or internet bill or water bill or electricity is going to get shut off, not worrying about those things. Feel the emotions of what that's like. If you've ever experienced that, relive that, know that you've been set for that month or whatever. Feel what that feels like, and then embrace that. Okay. And then that leads us into step 2. So step 1 is visualize, meditate and visualize the life or outcome that you will manifest. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2 is take action. So take action like you're already living that life. Take violent action towards that visualization. If it's that relationship that I want, well, guess what? Then I'm going to take action like I already live in that relationship, right? I'm going to pursue my passions. I'm going to live my dreams. I'm going to do the things that I want to be happy, because if I do that, then that means somebody that is doing the same things and pursuing their passions as well will fall into my life when the time is right and when our paths meet. And we're both going to be 2 happy people to meet together and come together. Take action like you're already living there. Like you already have that financial stability. If I want to be a millionaire, right? I'm going to take action like I'm already a millionaire. I'm going to start those businesses that I've always wanted to start. I'm going to quit my 9 to 5 job, because no millionaire works a 9 to 5 job, right? I'm going to start interacting and hanging around with people that have the same mindset, that maybe are millionaires. I'm going to start pursuing those relationships, because that's going to start putting me in the presence, and that's going to surround myself with the vibrations of the people that feel the same way. So start taking action. That's step 2. Take action like you're already living that lifestyle. And step 3, and this is the hardest one, and I think deserves an entire episode on its own, but step 3 is remove resistance. Remove the things from your life that prevent you from getting to your visualization. If it wasn't in your visualization, remove it. This is by far the most difficult step to take. For me, there's 5 points in my life that really were those points. And I would say, one, for most people, right, it's either a relationship or a job. And those are the biggest points of resistance. A lot of times it's people create resistance, right? Maybe you're hanging around toxic people. Those toxic people are resistance in your life. If you want to become a millionaire, You're not going to be hanging around toxic people that constantly complain about their job and the people they hang around with and the subordinates that work for them. You're not going to be around those people because those people aren't going to be successful in becoming a millionaire. If you want to be in a happy relationship, guess what? You're not going to hang around with people that go around and sleep with everybody because those people aren't in a happy relationship. They're just sleeping around with whoever they want. You're not going to be in a relationship with somebody that's, borderline cheating on you with somebody else. You're not going to be in a relationship with somebody that you can't trust because you don't know what the heck they're doing. They're not talking to you. They're not communicating clearly. Don't hang on to those forms of resistance. Start seeing it and understand what resistance means and let go of it. I was in the, I said in my thing, I was in the Army, right, for 7 years. And it was a great time. I had nothing against it. However, it was a form of resistance. It got to a point, right? It got to a point where the Army was great. But then at some point in my life, it was now resistance to me becoming who I really wanted to be. If I wanted to be something bigger, it was almost a plateau effect where the Army wasn't going to let me get any further. So I had to let go of that resistance. I essentially had to get out and find another way to pursue income. And that's where the real estate and, the businesses and everything that I started to take over for me. But I started those things before because I knew that the Army was going to be resistance and I needed to let go of it. So I had to release the resistance that was in my life. So start identifying resistance and let go of it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to make just an entire episode based on those 3 steps because there's a lot more that I need to dive into in there. But those are the basic forms of how to manifest using the law of attraction, how to manifest the different things you want in your life. Let go of them. If it's not in your visualization, let go of it. If you want to live in a lifestyle on the beach in Miami, Florida, who's going to be in your lifestyle at that point? Probably your family, a few close friends, and then maybe a fiance or spouse or significant other, right? Maybe those are the only people that are in your life. Well, guess what? If Jimmy Joe at your current job is some sort of dickhead and he's not somebody that's really conducive to you and he's not in that lifestyle, he's not in that visualization, guess what? Jimmy Joe gets to be some resistance and you get to let go of him. You get to let go of that dude. And if that job isn't as part of that, well, guess what? That job is resistance. If your boss isn't a part of that, that boss is resistance. Let go of those people and let go of that. And until you do that, you're going to continue to have the resistance in your life and it's going to continue to resist from letting you get to your end state from what you're visualizing, allowing you to manifest what it is you're trying to manifest, that lifestyle or whatever it is. It's going to continue to provide resistance to get you to what you're trying to manifest. So with that being said, I think there's a few more episodes that need to come out of a lot of this information. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at fulfillment_coaching and provide some feedback. If you guys got some stuff that you want to hear, send me some messages there. The DMs are the best way to get a hold of me. Other than that, thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. The 3rd episode, this one is on my heart and I love all the content. So thanks for tuning in. Next episode, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into a few of these different concepts and I really look forward to talking with you guys again. See you then.